Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, and today's topic is anatomy of scapula. So we are going to see the anatomy of scapula. We are going to learn anatomy of scapula. So before starting the lecture, a quick reminder that you guys will get the link of the app. The app name is Forensic Science UGC NET. So this is helpful for those students who all are preparing for forensic science UGC NET. So you guys will get different courses there. And apart from it, those students who all are not preparing for UGC NET and they are not even planning to prepare for UGC NET in forensic science, they will get different books, PDF there and study material there apart from UGC NET. Okay, so you guys will get different books there, so you guys can download this app from App Store and Play Store as well. So apart from it, Telegram channel is there. There you guys will get free PDFs of different videos, so please connect me there. Okay, so let's start today's lecture, anatomy of scapula. So what scapula is? Scapula is a flat bone. It is a flat bone, so it comes under flat bone. It looks somewhat triangular in shape. So this bone is your scapula. This bone is your scapula, not this one. This is clavicle, this bone, the red one. So this is your scapula. This one is your scapula. This bone is your scapula. So let's see what are the important information related to scapula. Scapula is also known as shoulder blade. So scapula is also known as shoulder blade. This is your shoulder blade. So that is scapula. So in normal language, sometimes we say like the shoulder blade, right? So this is scapula and it articulates the humerus. Humerus is your long bone present in your hand. So it articulates with humerus with the help of glenohumeral joint, and the other thing which joins the scapula is clavicle. Clavicle we have already studied clavicle in the previous lecture. So if you haven't seen that lecture, please go and check that video out, study clavicle and then see this video. Okay, so that will be more relevant and easy for you guys. So the one in articulates your humerus and the other area articulates with clavicle with acromioclavicular joint. Acromioclavicular joint. So here we have two different joints. In one joint, that is glenohumeral joint, humerus attach the scapula and acromioclavicular joint attach the clavicle. So in doing so, the scapula connects upper limb to the trunk. So it connects your upper limb to the trunk. So your body's trunk is connected by connected with upper limb by scapula, you can say. Okay, so it looks triangular in shape. So it is a triangular flat bone which serves a site for attachment of many muscles. So many muscles have attachments here. So this serves as a attachment points to different muscles. Now coming to the structure of scapula, here you guys can see the structure of scapula. So this is the anterior view. This is anterior view, and this area is lateral margin. This is medial margin. This is inferior angle. This is subscapular fossa. This is superior margin. This is superior angle, superior notch. This is acromion end. So here your clavicle connects your scapula. This is caracoid process where your caracoid muscles have attached. This is the attachment of caracoid muscles. That's why it's named caracoid process. This is your glenoid cavity. This cavity is your glenoid cavity. This is your inferior glenoid tubercle. This tubercle is your infraglenoid tubercle. Okay, so this is the important areas of scapula, you can say, and these areas are going to come under a different part of this scapula. We are going to categorize these different areas differently, and then we'll see separately these areas, like what is the infraglenoid tubercle, what is glenoid cavity, these things. So now coming to different surfaces of scapula, we are categorizing scapula into three surfaces. First surface is your coastal or anterior surface. First surface is your coastal surface. Okay, this is your coastal surface, and then you have lateral surface, then you have lateral surface, and then you have posterior surface. Then you have posterior surface. Okay, coastal or anterior surface, lateral surface, and posterior surface. So we are going to see what are these surfaces one by one. So let's see coastal surface first. What is coastal surface? So coastal surface is nothing but inferior surface. So it faces your rib cage. This surface faces your rib cage. So this area, wait a minute, yeah, this area, all this particular area which face the rib cage is your coastal surface. This surface is your coastal surface. This is your coastal surface. Okay, and it connects a large concave depression. It contains a large concave shaped depression over most of its surface, and that is known as subscapular fossa. That is known as subscapular fossa. So all these fossas we are going to talk about are the site of some muscle attachment. So this makes the area to get muscle attached in it. So this is the muscle attachment area, you can say. That's why this contains a concave depression. So whenever a muscles get attached to some specific bones, it makes some depression over the bone. So we can see the bone, and then have an idea that this particular area has some attachment of muscles. So this concave shaped depression is known as subscapular fossa, and this is why this depression is because of your rotator muscles, because your rotator muscles have connections here. That's why this depression is really very marked in this area, the coastal surface of your scapula. So this is subscapularis, and rotator muscles attached or originate from this fossa. Originating from supralateral surface, the coastal scapula is the caracoid process. Then we have caracoid process. Okay, what caracoid process this caracoid process is again the place where different muscles going to attach the scapula. So it is a hook-like projection. This caracoid process is a hook-like projection which lies underneath the clavicle, and three muscles have attachments here in the caracoid process. So this is your different muscles. Okay, the minor, and caracoid bronchus, and short head for biceps bronchi and all that. So these muscles have attachments here, and this process is known as caracoid process. So in your coastal surface, you have subscapular fossa and caracoid process. So these are the area which gives muscle attachment. So your rotator muscles attach your subscapular fossa, and different other muscles get attachment in the caracoid process. So this is your coastal surface. Now talking about lateral surface. So lateral surface is your surface which face humerus. This particular surface which faces your humerus bone is your lateral surface. This is your lateral surface which faces humerus. Okay, it is the side of glenohumeral joint. So this side is glenohumeral joint where your humerus attach your scapula, and various muscle attachment. And apart from your humerus and glenohumeral joint, many muscles are here which attaches your scapula. Now talking about landmarks, we have few landmarks here as well. So first landmark is your glenoid fossa, then supraglenoid tubercle, and then you have infraglenoid tubercle. What is glenoid fossa? So glenoid fossa is a shallow cavity. It's a shallow cavity which is located superiorly in the lateral border. Of course, yes, we are talking about lateral surface at this moment. So we are going to see the lateral areas. So this is located at the lateral border of scapula, and it articulates with the head of humerus. So this articulates with the head of humerus. So here your humerus have attachment. So here the head of humerus gets attached here, and this is your glenoid cavity. This is your glenoid cavity. This cavity is your glenoid cavity. It is a shallow cavity which get connects with your humerus head, okay, and that makes your shoulder joint, which is glenohumeral joint. Your shoulder joint is glenohumeral joint. Now talking about supraglenoid tubercle. What is supraglenoid tubercle? So above glenoid fossa you have a rough a rough structure or rough area where, I mean, the attachment of biceps bronchi is there. So this area above glenoid cavity you have supraglenoid tubercle, which gives attachment area to the biceps bronchi. It gives area of attachment to the biceps bronchi. This is your supraglenoid cavity. So next is infraglenoid tubercle. Sorry, I'm saying cavity. So glenoid fossa is a cavity. Above glenoid fossa you have supraglenoid tubercle. Then below glenoid fossa you have infraglenoid tubercle. So it is a rough inferior area of glenoid fossa which attaches long head of tricep bronchi. So supraglenoid tubercle attaches the head of bicep bronchi, and infraglenoid tubercle attaches your tricep bronchi, the long head of tricep bronchi. So this tubercle is your inferior or infraglenoid tubercle, and this cavity, this tubercle is your supraglenoid tubercle, and this cavity is your glenoid cavity or glenoid fossa. Clear? So this is the lateral end where your humerus gets connection with with your scapula. Now talking about posterior surface, this is your posterior surface. This surface is your posterior surface. So the posterior surface faces outwards. Okay, it is the site of origin of majority of rotator cuff muscles. So here you have here you have majority of rotator cuff muscles which facilitate your movement of your hand. So this is marked by few things like spine, acromion, infraspinous fossa and supraspinous fossa. So what spine is? So spine is nothing but a prominent feature of posterior scapula, because we are talking about posterior surface. So your spine is present in your posterior scapula, posterior surface. It runs transversely across the scapula and divides scapula into two. So what is this spine? So this thing over here is your spine. So it, you know, divide the scapula into two. Now talking about acromion end. So as I already, you know, talked about this clavicle which gets connection with scapula at acromion end, because that acromion area has attachment with scapula. So this is the acromion thing. This is the acromion. It is a projection of spine that arches over the glenohumeral joint. So it arches over the glenohumeral joint and it articulates with your clavicle. So this is the place where the clavicle articulates with scapula, and it gets joined with acromioclavicular joint. Acromioclavicular, because it's joining with clavicle at the acromion end. That's why acromoclavicular joint. And then we have infraspinous fossa. So what is infraspinous fossa? So infraspinous fossa are the area below the spine. Okay, below the spine. So this area below the spine. So here you have spine, and below the spine you have infraspinous fossa, which displays convex shape. It is somewhat convex in shape, and here you can see the infraspinous muscle attachment or origination from this area, because this is infraspinous fossa. So you will see infraspinous muscles here. Okay, now talking about the supraspinous fossa, this is the area above the spine of scapula. So this area above the above the spine is supraspinous fossa. It is much smaller than the infraspinous fossa. As we can see, that area is much smaller. The supraspinous fossa is much smaller than the infraspinous fossa, and it is more convex in shape as compared to the infraspinous one. The infraspinous muscles originate from this area, and it originates your infraspinous muscles here. So this is because this area is known as infraspinous fossa. Some muscle originating from this area will known as infraspinous muscle. So this is few important things present at the posterior surface of scapula. Now talking about articulation, here in the scapula we have two important articulation. First is glenohumeral joint. We have already talked about acromoclavicular joint. We have already talked about. So here you have two important articulation. First is between your glenoid fossa, between your clavicle and your humerus, which is there. It's between your glenoid fossa of scapula. So the glenoid fossa is the particular area of scapula but attaches the head of humerus. Now talking about acromoclavicular joint, so it is there in the acromion end of the scapula to the clavicle, that is known as acromoclavicular joint. So I think we have covered almost all these, all the things of uh, scapula. If you have any doubt, you can put your doubt in the comment box, and if you have any suggestions, again you can place a comment for that suggestion as well. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you want this PDF, please join us on Telegram, and have a great day ahead. See you in the next class. So probably we'll cover sternum or humerus after this. So anatomy of sternum or anatomy of humerus we can talk about. So see you in the next class. Have a great day ahead. If you feel like this video is really helpful, so you can give a thumbs up. If you find this YouTube channel useful, so you can subscribe it, you can share it with your friends. And yeah, happy studying. See you in the next lecture. Till then, bye.